Yes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Shop Dog Fabrication. So today we're pimping up our fireplace. So my wife kind of primed it here and she painted the black, and you see the kind of the thumbnail picture. I'll pop another one in here, what it looked like before we started. And so now what we've done is we've taken some 1 by 5.5 inch wide. This is a pre-primed MDF board that we've used. And so the first one I put in here is 58 and 1/8 inches, which is this top piece. And then I cut two 37 and a 1/16 inch side pieces, and we put those in. Now these are just sitting here right now. We're about to use some construction adhesive and glue these to the tile. And then what we're going to do once this is done is we're going to add a couple of vertical, like I believe they're about 3/4 by maybe inch and a half wide pieces here and here. We're going to run them across the top and along the bottom, and then we'll put a little side piece here. And then what we may do is once we get this all done, we'll take a look at it, is maybe box it in at the bottom with some baseboard. So we'll have to see how it looks, as we kind of go along. But this is what we're doing, and so this is kind of just the first step to make your fireplace a little better. And then what we're going to do is when it's all done, we'll paint this all up nice and white to match the fireplace mantle, so it'll turn out pretty good. So with that, let's go ahead and we'll add the construction adhesive next. Secure this, let this cure for a little bit, and then we'll start adding the additional trim pieces.
Okay.
All right, so what we're using is Gorilla Glue construction adhesive. This is the all-purpose. Basically, it does tile, molding, plaster, trim, paneling, foam board, drywall, concrete, cement board, stone, laminate, ceramic, wood, flooring, marble, masonry, brick, and more. So that's what we chose to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a simple zigzag pattern on the back of the MDF here. You want to be careful not to get too close to the edges, so when you push it and squeeze it up against the tile, that you don't get too much squeeze out and you create a mess. So now, like I said, I'm going to do a zigzag pattern. Take a video. So I've got the first piece set in place. Now I'm going to go ahead and set the next one up here. Line it up with the edge. Give it a good squeeze. Set this next one in. And give her a good squeeze. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll let this set up and cure for a little bit. Then we'll give it maybe an hour or so, a couple hours, and then I'll come back and we'll start cutting some of this trim and attaching it. Actually, I can probably go ahead and start measuring and start cutting a couple of the pieces that we'll use. We can cut this top piece and probably these side pieces. So we'll cut a couple pieces and get it ready. All right, so what we're using actually is rectangular, 1/2 inch by 1.5 inch pine pre-primed wood. To basically trim this and make it look a little nicer. So we've cut our first piece up top here, which was again 58th and an eighth. And then what we've done is these four here on both sides, so there's four pieces we've cut. These are at 41 inches. And now I'm going to go ahead and staple these in place. I'm basically using my little staple gun or brad gun. I'm using 1-inch brads, so that way, being 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch, I've got plenty of room for the brad nail to go in and hold these in place. I'm not going to use the construction adhesive. I want to make sure I have a nice tight fit there. Now, if you have to and you don't have anything like this, yes, you could use some construction adhesive. Just make sure you get a good press fit, press it on real good so you don't have gaps in your trim. If you do have slight gaps, you can use a little caulk and just kind of caulk it, and then you can paint over it when you're done. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead, pop in a couple brads, and I'll hold these pieces of trim in place. All right, so now we've got all our trim pieces put in. We've got our back pieces all put in, and it's looking pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we just need to take a little putty, for our little brad nail heads. And what we're going to do is also take a little caulk, right along these seams here on both sides, just to kind of make them look a little cleaner. And then we'll go ahead and prime this whole thing again, and then we'll go ahead and do our finished coat of paint. So how did we come up with our $60 fireplace? So to give you the 5.5 inch boards, we needed 2 of those, and those are $8 a piece. So that's $16. The 1.5 inch wide boards were like $5.50 a piece, and we needed 5 of those. So there's about $27, $27.50. So add those two together, you're up to what, $43. The primer that we used was about $10, so there's about $53. And we already had the white that we used and the black. So we already had the caulk as well. If you already have those things, then you're looking at about $53. If not, then you'll need to buy a little bit of white to match, or if you wanted to do black or some other color, maybe you have. So I hope this just gave you an idea of what you can do to your fireplace to make it look a lot nicer, very inexpensively. So again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell, as I say, for future content as we do other projects. So I hope, like I said, this kind of give you some ideas on what you can do. And thanks again for taking the time to watch.